All right, here we go. So for number 1, you're still looking for groups of 3. You want to factor the radical. 128 is 2 times 64, which is 2 times 32, which is 2 times 16, which is 2 times 8, which is 2 times 4, which is 2 times 2. Oh my goodness, a lot of 2's. And then there are 5 x's and 3 y's. And you're looking for groups of 3. So there's one group of 3 2's. So you're going to pull out 1, 2 for that group. And then here's another group. Pull out 1, 2. And then there's a group of 3 x's. You pull out 1 x for that group. And a group of 3 y's. You pull out 1 y. And you multiply all the things that you pulled out. So that's 4xy. And what's left is 2 and 2 x's. So that's 2x squared. And it's a cube root. And if you look at your filled in notes, I did it a slightly different way. I factored into 3 4's. And instead of breaking those 4's down, that's an alternate way you could do it. You come up with the same answer. On number 2, you're looking for anything that's a perfect square. So 64 is a perfect square, so you can pull that out as 8. And the square root of x squared is x. The 7 has to stay inside because it is not a perfect square. What you pull out, you multiply. So that's 8x. And then the square root of 7 on the bottom. And what do you put on top when everything gets simplified? You put a 1. All right. Number 3, we start by simplifying the negative 8 over 2 to negative 4. And then I will take n to the negative 4, flip it, which means bringing it up top and making the 4 positive. So that would give me 16 m to the 8, n to the positive 4, all raised to the 3/4 power. Then I distribute, quote unquote, the 3/4 to all of the powers inside. So 16 has a power of 1, m has a power of 8, and n has a power of 4. So that's, and what am I going to do with those powers? I'm going to multiply them. So 16 has a power of 1. 1 times 3/4 is 3/4. M has a power of 8. Coming over here to do some scratch work. 8 times 3/4 is 8 is over 1, so it's 24 over 4, which is 6. So it's 16m to the 6th. And then n to the 4th is to the 3/4, so it's the power of 4, which is over 1, times the 3/4, which is 12 over 4, which is 3. So it's n cubed. And we can't stop right here because this part can be simplified even more. So I'm going to go over here. 16 to the 3/4, we're going to do the root first, which is the 4. Okay, that's not. So the root first, dang it, get situated. All right, try this again. Root first, which is 16 to the 1/4, and then the power second. 16 to the 1/4 means the 4th root of 16. What times itself 4 times would give you 16? And that's 2. And then 2 cubed is 8. So our final answer is 8 m to the 6th n cubed. For number 4, you want to get the radical by itself. That means isolate it, so we will add r to both sides. So now I've got the square root of 12 minus r equals r. To get rid of a square root, I square both sides. That leaves square and square roots cancel, leaving me 12 minus r on the left, r squared on the right. I need to move everything on the left over by doing the opposite to both sides. And that gives me 0 equals r squared plus r minus 12. I need to factor that, so I'm going to do my cross method. What multiplies to negative 12 and adds to positive 1, and that's 4 and negative 3. So I'll use the 4 and negative 3 just to rewrite this middle term. So 0 equals r squared plus 4r minus 3r minus 12. I do my grouping. I set each of those factors equal to 0 and solve. And remember, you have to double check to see which one is an extraneous solution. So you plug them into the original equation. So here's me checking negative 4. 12 minus negative 4 minus negative 4 equals 0. Both those places where you have minus and negative becomes plus plus. So that gives me the square root of 16 plus 4. Square root of 16 is 4. 4 plus 4 is 8. It is not true that 8 equals 0. So we know that r equals negative 4 is an extraneous solution. And then let me check r equals 3. So I plug 3 into the original one everywhere I see r. So that's 12 minus 3 inside the radical, minus 3 outside. That's square root of 9 minus 3. Square root of 9 is 3. And 3 minus 3 is 0, so 0 equals 0. Checks out. That's my only solution. And the very last problem, remember when this was easy, your distance is 75. We want to know what the time is, t, for a nail to drop that far. You put the 75 divided by 16 in your calculator first, then take the square root of it, and you get approximately 2.17 seconds. Now go do your extra practice worksheet. Be sure to show your work and upload it to Google Classroom. Hooah!